Hi everyone, welcome to the latest episode of 23rd Mind TV.
Yeah, we're back. Time flies and we're already at the end of August, but we have a lot of things lined up for the autumn and we'll tell you all about it in this episode.
Yes, and first we want to mention we've decided to open up our Patreon so that everybody on our Patreon gets our Magic Monday posts. So every Monday, Carl and I take turns, or sometimes we write them together. Every Monday we post a Magic Monday post about our magical practices, our creative practices, how they're intertwined, how you can integrate magic and art into your day-to-day life, and those sorts of things. And we have had that at the 23rd Mind level, which is still a very special level. And thanks for everyone who's there. And we have specific rituals going on there as well. But for everybody who wants to join our Patreon at any level, we're opening up the Magic Monday posts so that every Monday, everybody gets access to these kinds of creative and magical ideas. And hopefully in doing that, we can inspire you to develop your own magical and creative practices. Yeah, we love to hear from people in the Patreon community, and we love to hear about your creative and magical practices too. So we really love that the Patreon community is a community and that people talk with one another and comment on our posts. And we love to read your comments and read your feedback.
Exactly. And also once a year, we anthologize these posts and turn them into books like this one. This was for the first year, basically 52 posts turned into articles and lots of pictures. And we're working on volume number 2 now. And it's just ongoing. Every Monday there's a new post about, I would say, hardcore magic.
Absolutely. So yeah, if you want to join now, you can always check out the Magic Monday books so you can see what we have posted in the past. These are available at Trapart and Amazon, wherever you get your books online. And this is, like Carl said, the first year, and we've already wrapped up the second year, so we're going to have that out as a book soon. And we're already into the third year of Magic Monday posts. So there's a lot of information in there, and we hope you all enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of anthologies, we also recently released this beautiful little baby, Feminist Wolf number 11. And as most of you know who followed us, when we've had these major conferences, the psychoanalysis, art, and the occult conferences, we anthologize the papers and talks from these conferences, and this is such an issue. This is from the great conference in Merano in Italy in 2019. We talked about esoteric modernism and poetry and just many interesting things. And you can find information about that at the Trapart website, which is trapart.net. We'll have a link in the show notes, episode notes for this one. Fenris is Fenris. Fenris howls, and Fenris is wonderful and inspiring, and this is certainly no exception, especially as it has such a multitude of intelligent voices talking about very interesting things. Modernism, magic, and psychoanalysis, of course. Yeah.
And this is my first time doing a Fenris Wolf cover.
Yes.
So I got to do the cover.
And a good one.
Thank you. And since we had it at a castle, I put a little castle in there. So.
Yeah, so check that out. We'll talk more about conferences soon because we have an upcoming one. But first, I would like to mention this book that we showcased already in the most recent episode of 23rd Mind TV. Is my first novel in Swedish. It's called Codex Nordica. And it's not to harass you with this, it's because we're now launching it actively. And we're launching it in bookstores around Sweden, mainly. First, we will be in Gothenburg this Wednesday, actually, Wednesday the 31st of August at Gothenburg's finest bookstore, Aniara. I'll be reading from the book. I'll be in the conversation with Elizabeth Punzi, and there'll be Q&A for those so inclined. So if you're in Gothenburg and want to get the book or be part of this wonderful evening, please join us at Aniara between 6 and 8 p.m. On Wednesday, the 31st of August. There will be an address also in the episode notes. And we're carrying on with this too. I will be reading from the book in Lund at Martin Bryder Gallery, September 17th. That's a Saturday. And then we have
an event in Ronells on November 22nd.
Ronells in Stockholm, November 22nd. And there will be many other events before that. So just make sure you join our Patreon or sign up for our newsletters, and you will have all of that information. This ball is now being rolled away, so to speak, and there will be many evenings this autumn for Codex Nordica.
So excited.
Yes, it's a good book, and if you read Swedish, you have no excuse not to read it. And if you don't read Swedish, then you better start learning, for instance, by reading this book.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then other events we have in September, I'm going to be in Hanover presenting at the Keshner Gallery there. And that's on September 15th. So I'll be joining Carl in Lund on the 17th, coming directly over from Hanover. So that'll be a fun kind of weekend. And then we have, after that in October, we're going to be in Berlin for the Occulture Conference. A culture esoteric conference in Berlin. That's October 7th through the 9th. So we'll be there then, and we're both speaking at that event. That should be a really fun weekend.
Yeah.
And then the following weekend will be in Copenhagen. That's October 14th through 16th. That's, of course, the event we're most excited about because that's our next Psychoanalysis, Art, and the Occult conference, our third conference. This one's called Visionary Medium, Psychoanalysis, and the Magic of Cinema. We have the speakers all lined up. We have the schedule posted at psychartcult.org. You can check it out. We're basically having talks during the day from around 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then we have a 2-hour break for lunch. I like to make the conferences really relaxed in that way, so there's a lot of time for socializing. I give the speakers adequate time to present with a lot of time for Q&A and discussion afterwards, because really during these events, we want to generate discussion, have people network, meet each other, connect, and generate new ideas and bring forth new inspiration for future events and projects. It's really what it's all about. So they're really fun weekends. The first two have been really generative and have made a lot of connections. And of course, the two books, the Fenris Wolf's issue 9 and 11 came out of that. We will also anthologize this conference when it's over. People have asked if we'll be streaming it. We're not going to be streaming it. The cinema is inside the building. We're having that conference in an amazing underground cinema in Copenhagen. And it's really inside the building. They don't really have good Wi-Fi or cell phone connection there, which is kind of nice. It'll be really focused. We'll all be really focused on the speakers and presentations and films. But we will be recording it. And as I've done in the past, I've posted lectures from previous conferences and events as episodes of Rendering Unconscious podcast. I've done that recently this summer, kind of in preparation for this event. I posted some talks from both the London and the Italy conferences. So you can check that out on renderingunconscious.org or wherever you stream your podcasts. And so we'll be doing a similar thing over time, and of course releasing the talks as a Fenris Wolf, probably issue number 13. But the conference itself won't be live streamed. It'll be really intimate. The cinema only houses about 60 people, so we like to keep our conferences pretty small in that way so people can really meet and network and get together and kind of create more of the 23rd Mind vibe that we love.
And a very special thing about this conference is also its focus on cinema. That's why we're having it in a cinema. But we're also going to show a lot of films then in the evenings after the panels in the daytime. So after dinner, we'll reconvene and watch relevant films, films that will be talked about, for instance, the following day. And that will also include several world premieres. for instance, of Martin Munthes' new feature film called Big Bad Wolf, and also our own new film called Reseduction, and some other stuff as well, plus a lot of goodies that will be talked about literally.
Yeah, so it's going to be really great. We're going to be screening the films on Friday and Saturday evenings. The conference is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It ends around 5 o'clock on Sunday. And yeah, it's going to be really fun. And we're really, really looking forward to that.
And you can read all about it at psychartcult.org and click at the Visionary Medium page link.
Yeah, and you can follow us on our Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. We've been posting the various speakers, the various presenters, and the various filmmakers that will be joining us there, so that you can see who's going to be there and get a sense of everyone and their work. And then in November, like we said, we're going to be at Ronell's on the 22nd for Carl's Codex Nordica book launch in Stockholm. And then on the 23rd, we'll be speaking at ABF in Stockholm. I'm going to be presenting a psychoanalytic lecture, and Carl's going to be my respondent. So we'll have more on that in future episodes, and I'll link to that through social media when those links are up. And then in December, we're going to Bali.
Yes. That will be a wonderful, wonderful trip. Going to the magical retreat / workshop organized by our friend Jay Kobrin, who's a great artist who lives in Bali, organizing this wonderful thing. There are still some places left in this group that will experience wonderful, mind-blowing things together. You and I will be talking about our favorite topic, the intersection between art and magic. It will be a hands-on, concrete way to try new things of thinking, try new ways of acting, behaving, and creating. We look forward to that a lot because to go to Bali in December sounds pretty good to me.
Absolutely. It's going to be at a retreat center in Ubud, and it's a place that has like all vegetarian food, is very ecologically friendly. It looks absolutely gorgeous. There's waterfalls and amazing temples nearby, and Jake's organized the whole retreat. It's all about art and magic and the intersection of art and magic, and art as magic and magic as art, and kind of a way of life. He's a visionary artist, and he's collected together several visionary artists to kind of share their work and their practices with everyone there, so that we can all come back with new tools and ways of working. So it's going to be really amazing. It's also going to be really intimate. I think it'll be end up being a really tight-knit group by the end of it. And we're really looking forward to that. So that's December 7th through the 21st. You can find more information at BaliArtMagicRetreat.com, and that's magic, Magick.
And there's a link to it in the episode notes, so you can just click it. Anyway, that's going to be a blowing trip for sure. So we hope to see you there in Bali in December.
Yeah. So is that all of our events? I think that's enough.
Yeah. We're a slow start this year, this season. We have received some interesting books from other people, as usual, and we'd like to talk a little bit about them to make you aware of all the great things that are going on out there.
Absolutely. My dear friend Jason Haaf came out with this wonderful memoir called Harsh Cravings. It's him writing about his experience as a gay man in New York City during the pandemic, and what that was like, and different interesting events that occurred, and hookups and meetups, and his inner kind of thought processes as all of this was going on. And it's really interesting to read not only his perspective in general, but also revisiting the pandemic when it began, and the uncertainty of it, and wondering what was going on when we really didn't know what was going on. And yeah, it's a really interesting read. I highly recommend all of Jason's work. He's on Instagram as well at Haafwit, Haaf Wit. So check him out, definitely. And then I've been doing a lot of cut-ups and collages lately. I've been doing some collaborations with some people like Stephen Cline, who we'll talk about more, and we've talked about in the past. And I've also been asked to do a piece by Frank Ansel out of Paris, which you'll see on social media soon. It's a surprise that will be posted on September 11th.
We have both also been writing stuff for this wonderful publication, Tumzantorum, edited and published by Sean Woodward at Zoss House. They're really fantastic anthologies, a little bit like Fenris in a way, but different. It's just very inspiring. I find it very inspiring with these anthologies because you don't have to read it from first page to last page. You can just cherry pick and go back and forth and return to it. I like that very much, as you know. For Tumzantorum, we have both written pieces very recently. You did a cut up, of course, I was going to say again, and I wrote a little piece about sort of semi-fictional piece about explorations throughout the decades of the occult.
It's really good. I really liked your piece.
Yeah, I like your piece.
Thank you. For my piece, I did something for the first time a little bit different, and that is my kind of first long form cut up essay, I would say. That's about 5,000, 6,000 words. And as I mentioned before, I'm working on a book called Things Happen. And I've gotten to a place with the book where I feel like I need to basically cut the entire book up again, like with scissors, and re-glue it to some sketch pads and then retranscribe it one more time. And of course, I've been a little bit hesitant to like take the book that I've already ordered and cut it up again, because it's always a bit nerve-wracking to kind of do, because it's not really going to be able to put it back together the way it was. But that's kind of the point of cut-ups, and you just have to jump into it and do it anyway. But I've been hesitant to do that, so I decided basically to practice my idea for how I want to work on the Things Happen book with this piece for Sean Woodward. And I think it turned out really great. I'm really happy with it. Mm-hmm. So now I'm going to feel more confident diving back into Things Happen and destroying it so I can recreate it better.
Yeah, basically, things happen.
Yeah. And then I also wanted to mention, even though this book came out last year, Written Matter by Andrew McLuhan. It's on Revelor Press, who are also friends of ours. And Andrew's inspired me to look at poetry every day. He just said on his Twitter, he's got a really great Twitter. You should definitely follow him. I'll link to that as well. And everything that the McLuhan Institute is doing, because Andrew's doing great work with the McLuhan Institute. He's giving classes and lectures all over the place. He's got a great Twitter. And so on his Twitter, he said, what would happen if you read a poem every day? And I said, what would happen if I read a poem every day? So I've been reading poetry again because of Andrew's inspiration. And it got me really creative in writing my own kind of cut up poetry and working on this piece for Sean and doing all sorts of other things again. So yeah, so thank you, Andrew. And definitely check out his book, Written Matter. And we have a book with him and S. Alfonso Williams in the work as well, which we'll talk about when it's closer to being finished, where I'm basically taking Andrew McLuhan's writing, Alfonso Williams' writing, and Carl's writing, mixing it with my writing, cutting it all up, rearranging it, making collages, and we're going to have a book come out of the four of us in the near future called Metaphor.
Yeah.
We're also going to have a book with Jason Haaf come out in the near future as well. So we have a lot of books in the works. Carl, I think, has 15 books on his desk. So.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. But they will all come out eventually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure.
In between all of the traveling for conferences.
Yes. Business as usual.
And I definitely wanted to mention our friend Daria, this wonderful Ukrainian artist who created this and so many other amazing works. This is called Victory, Victory for Ukraine. She is having a pop-up art event in London on Saturday and Sunday, September 10th and 11th. So definitely, if you're in London, check that out. I'll link to her Instagram as well. And all the information for that event is there. All benefits are going to Ukraine.
And I think that basically wrapped it up for this time.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of 23rd Mind TV. Definitely check out the links if you're listening to this on the podcast stream, just go to our YouTube channel, which is Trapart Films, YouTube, Trapart Film at YouTube. You can find the video there, and that way you can see all the art that we displayed and find all the links to the episodes.
And join our Patreon.
Join us at Patreon and check out Magic Monday and everything else that we're doing there, because we do a lot of other things there as well.
Yeah.
And all of this is always listed at Patreon first.
Exactly. So take care. Thank you. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.